even if at the federal level you try to get a little efficient, you have to spend so much money to get local government to be efficient to actually then make the whole thing work. I think it's impossible for anybody to come in and change the culture holistically. And then the local versus federal government issue, no, I don't think it's not going to change unless there's some drastic funding that happens, which then you're like, well, what are we going for here? Financial efficiency or process efficiency to make the lives of the citizens easier? Which one is it?
So why can't it be both? When I think about our time again at Disney, we were able to drive, and I think about this with any company, you can drive efficiency, which also leads to a cost saving. So you can get to some of these, and those efficiencies could mean things work better. So if you think about DMV as that example, you can speed up times, you can automate a lot of the stuff that's happening at, DMV. You can basically make it so that, those long wait times, I know, yeah, it's like you can't, there are so many things you could do. Like we could go in there, have a field day of the opportunities there. And that's going to drive both the benefit to the public and the benefit to the bottom line. So I guess I look at that as a microcosm of what can happen across any business.
Business, yes, but if you have a $6 trillion, spending budget, you're not going to cut that budget. You're basically going to move money around. So maybe you cut $1 billion here, and now you're sending $1 billion more to Ukraine, as an example.
Well,
Like it's not going to go away.
yeah, and that's where you're assuming then that, the idea here, and to me, it depends on what those core metrics are in place. If it's like, no, let's say if the goal is to reduce the deficit, then that's where the money is going, is towards the deficit. So I don't think it has to go to whatever that other cause is, but sometimes it might. There could be some out there who argue and say, okay, time to pump more into, space defense or whatever the heck it is. But I do think that if you can, no matter what, even if you do move it somewhere else, that now does decrease. Let's say, I'm just going to use your Ukraine example. If you did find the efficiencies of, $150 billion, and it's like, it's going to Ukraine. Well, look, if somebody would have possibly written a blank check from 150 added to the deficit to go to Ukraine in general. So I see that as a saving. So I guess maybe I'm more of an optimist with this, but I'm curious, then is what you're saying is that we should just expect ongoing bloat with government forever and nothing will ever be changed? Because even if something like this only shaved 10% off, which I'm like, I still think that would be a huge win. Take 10% from this through some savings by really looking at what these agencies need and try to put that back towards deficit or whatever else. You're saying, why bother?
I'm saying that I think financial efficiency is probably the wrong metric. I think making the lives of population easier is probably the metric you should go for. And that might mean more spending. And that's not Elon. Elon is, we're going to cut. And I do think each government division is so different and unique.
Yeah.
Whether it's Medicaid versus defense versus the post office, like they are so different. It's not going to be a one approach to all. So you can't have Elon just coming in there and saying, let's do the same thing everywhere. It's going to take time to figure out how to do it across. It's just going to take time. And I'm saying all this, but I'm a huge Elon fan. I own Tesla stock. I own a Tesla car. Like I'm a huge Elon fan, and I've been for a while. So this is no way of me being a Elon hater. This is my opinion.